morning. My name is Cheryl Hansen, and I'm excited because today I'm doing my very first vlog. My daughter says that's video. It's vlogging, kind of like a blog, but it's on video. And I have had a blog page, which you probably are on right now. For the last couple of years, I've been blogging here and there about how to enjoy life and inspiring others to live their best life each day. My husband and I have been married for 21 years, and we've gone through many different things, which on this page I'm also going to share some stories of us and other people, and just try to help inspire others to be their best and live their best life each day. At the end of every one of my letters, you'll see enjoy life, live your dreams, feel your purpose, share your talents, and treasure every moment. If there was a fire in your house today, you would probably get all of your children, your dogs, your animals, and you would run out the door, and you would maybe, if you had a chance to go and grab a couple of things, what would you grab? You'd probably grab photos, you'd grab things that were super important to you, and it's typically not anything but the people you love. Everything else is replaceable. So if we can, if we know that our number one thing is our families, our friends, the people that surround us, then why not make sure that we're being our best each day to those people around us and help them to become all that they need to be. And one of the biggest ways you can do that is finding who you are, what your purpose is. And that purpose comes in many different ways, and it comes from knowing what your gifts and talents are. So often I walk through life and I see people envying someone else for who they are or what they have or what their talents are. You have talents too. Everybody has talents. Everybody has talents. So trying to figure out what those gifts are. Maybe you're super hospitable. Maybe you are great at talking with people. Maybe you just are really great at researching things, and you can, or you're very creative. These things are all great attributes. Those attributes are going to carry you through to be the most successful you can be. The reason why I am doing this, and I'll tell you a little bit about my story so you understand. We've been married for 21 years. In that time, my husband and I have had 4 children. I'm a mother of 4. I have one in every level, one in college, one in high school, one in middle school, and one in second grade in grade school. I've worked with many families because I had owned my own licensed daycare out of my home while I was raising my kids. These families have led me to understand all sorts of different struggles they go through, trying to speed to work every day, trying to balance activities with kids, trying to get bills paid on time, making ends meet. Many of the families that I worked with had a lot of the same struggles. Disagreeing on parenting, disagreeing on how to spend money in your house. These are all things that I'm gonna blog about or vlog about. And my inspiration, honestly, is coming from dealing with the other business that we have, and that is my husband's business. My husband lost his dad 23 years ago when we met. I was a teller in the bank. He was a banker. I already had graduated from college. He's 5 years older than me, and he wasn't loving his job. So he had been researching doing something different. And the day of his dad's funeral, we went back to his mom's house, and he said, "Cheryl, I want to be a funeral director." And if you know my husband, he's super funny. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's gross. Who's gonna do that? That's disgusting. Okay, imagine I'm like 18 years old, 19 years old. I was pretty young. We were already engaged, so probably around 19, 20 years old. I got married young. Did everything in order. Went to school, then got married, then had children. So it was all planned, just not what typically people do. People don't usually get married that young. But anyway, it's all worked out well for us. The day of that funeral, I thought he was just losing his mind, but I also knew that my husband was super compassionate. He loves working with the older generation. He loves hearing people's stories of how they lived. That's just something, he's so good at what he does. But anyway, that path led into getting an apprenticeship with a local funeral home. He went back to school, and now he managed a funeral home, worked there for a total of 11 years. I'm not sure how many years he managed, but then we opened our own funeral home. So we have Hanson Family Funeral Services, and that's located on Lime Kiln Road in Green Bay, Wisconsin. But now I've been pulled into this funeral industry, and I work with families, and I see what they're going through at the end. And what's really cool is you get to see the beautiful stories of how people lived. Sometimes they're great stories, sometimes actually every story is beautiful. There's people that bring all different gifts to this world. You know, somebody might have been a mechanic, there might have been somebody who was a janitor, there was somebody who, you know, loved children or was a bus driver. That's just our jobs. But then now you're talking about the next, you know, the most important job, and that's how you were inside your family, what you brought to your family, how you inspired your family to be better, how you drove your family to be the best that they could be. And we hear all these stories, and we've been in situations where somebody was angry with somebody and they got in a car accident. Now the person's gone. My nieces lost their dad at a really young age, and you know, you just don't know when somebody's going to be gone. He was snowblowing. He was snowblowing, and he had a heart attack. Young, never expected. You just never know when your life is done. And so you want to make sure that when at least I want to make sure that while I'm here, that I am just being the best I can be for my husband, for my children, for the people that are in my life. My 4-year-olds, I now work in the schools as a 4K educator. For the families that we serve, you just want to make sure that we are being the best we can be. But one of the biggest things and biggest obstacles that I find about people living their life is they're not living joyfully. They have to go to work. They have to pay those bills. They have to. And it's a mindset. I get to go to work. I get to take my children to activities. I get, you know, it's that changing of your thinking that's going to really help you enjoy your life. And then focusing on what your talents are. The other big struggle for so many people is wishing they were somebody different than who they are. You know, you could be an assistant to somebody. This is really interesting. I worked for 3 business bankers when I was younger, and it's a story that I took this job after John was done with mortuary school. I had a friend, I was working in a bank down in Illinois, and she recommended this position. And this job was a secretary position. Now, I had a marketing degree, so I was thinking, I don't want to be a secretary, but I needed to pay my bills. So this was a connection to make sure that I had a job when I got back. And so I took this job, and we were just beginning our life together. John was just finishing mortuary college and took this job, and I worked for 3 business bankers. And the first few weeks I was like, oh my goodness, I'm a secretary. Like, why a secretary? I didn't go to school to be a secretary. Okay. That job was one of the best jobs I could have ever had. These guys were hilarious. They were great with being able to talk with people, but organizing their life, oh my goodness, their papers and the things that they needed so that they could be successful was on me. Taking those phone calls that they couldn't take and be able to answer the customers' questions, that was on me. So I guess I changed the way I was looking at it. Like, I wasn't just a secretary. I was helping these very successful bankers be the best that they could be. And honestly, it taught me so much. It taught me how to organize you know, so many different things in my life as far as paperwork, even in my home. And I've actually been able to use those same skills now that we've owned our own businesses. So it's really interesting. The other thing is to realize that where you are right now, in the position that you hold right now, whether it be in a job or as a mom, that actually leads you to what's coming in the future. I started as a secretary, but I was able to climb to many different positions after that. But knowing that this might just be a building block, or this might be just some place where I have so much joy, because I am telling you, when I was a secretary, it was the most joyful job. This is the thing. I was able to go to work, have my lunch, go back to work, leave at 5, and I was done. There was nothing left to think about. Stress-free, nothing left I had to do. Now later on, when I became a leasing rep, it was all about, okay, what business relationships have I had, and what did this person and you weren't able to shut that off. So if you have husbands that are out there working like crazy and they come home and they just are like, oh, whoa, people keep talking to me, it's because that's probably all still going in their head. Don't we all do that? But my big thing for my vlog is just to say we'll have many more different topics. How to be your best wife, how to be your best mother, some of those things that I can't be how to be your best father, because my husband's gonna have to do that one. But as we manage our finances, manage our lives, ultimately remember to enjoy life. And enjoying life really starts up here. You have to think about what you're doing and be thankful for what you have. And realize that where you are right now may be the stepping stones to where you're going later. And you can't be on everybody else's path. You have to use what your gifts are and be the best you can be every day. If you are working at Starbucks and making coffees, you be the best barista there is, and make sure that they are served properly and with a smile, and you know, somebody's going to notice that, and they're going to make that is going to make their day. Maybe you're making somebody else's day because of how great service you've given them. So enjoy life, live your purpose, use your talents and gifts, and treasure every moment. Remember, we're here for a short period of time. So living unhappy is never fun. And yes, you may be going through things, you may be going through struggles, but focus on the good. Focus on all the great things you have. Because you know what? You might have a beater car, but somebody else over there only has a bicycle and wishes they had your beater car. And you might have, you might only vacation in town while other people are going out, but somebody else might not even be able to afford to get into the museum. So you got to look at what you have and be grateful for what you have, and then just be the best you can be, and you will go many places. Enjoy life.